Good morning. My name is Keith Reno with the Reno lending team of Prospect Mortgage, and I want to spend a couple of minutes with you here this morning going over what goes into a mortgage application and what myself as a loan officer looks for in a borrower's qualifications and their eligibility. First, we start off the mortgage application with going over your basic personal information, your name, your date of birth, your social security number, your residency history for the past 2 years, really basic information. From there we look into your employment. We look for a 2-year history of your income in your employment. We are trying to determine what the 2-year history of your earnings have been and then what is likely to continue for the next 3 years. And then from your employment, we look at other sources of income. So if perhaps you're retired and receiving pensions, annuities, social security, that's qualifying income. If you're receiving interest or dividends from perhaps stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, if we have a 2-year history of that and it's likely to continue for the next 3 years, we can use that for qualifying income. If you're receiving child support or alimony, or if perhaps you're receiving rental income from an investment property, that can all be compiled together and used towards your qualifying income. From there we look at your assets, proof of funds, and then your reserves, or look to determine what your reserves will be once you use the funds for the down payment and your closing cost. Your assets can be anything in terms of your checking accounts, your saving accounts, retirement funds, stocks, bonds, IRAs, 401ks, anything that you could potentially liquidate and use towards the purchase of the property or use towards perhaps making that monthly payment, we consider a asset. Another part is your credit / your liabilities. When we review your credit report, we are looking at your credit score, but we're as well looking at what other monthly obligations are you obligated to. So for an example, car loans, minimum payments on credit cards, if you have a timeshare that reports on your credit report, things of that nature. Anything that reports on your credit report is going to be factored in to your overall debt to income ratio. One of the things we do not look at, which I oftentimes get asked, is if we look at your cell phone bill or utilities, things of that nature. Those bills that do not report on your credit report, we do not factor into your overall debt to income ratio. And depending on your debt to income ratio, that will ultimately determine how much of a mortgage or how high of a loan amount you can obtain. Another part of going over your application, your loan officer should be asking you what your goals are in terms of your down payment, your monthly payment, how long you plan on keeping the property, things of that nature. And then once those factors are determined and your goals are reviewed, from there your loan officer should be able to present to you different loan options and programs based upon your goals and your individual qualifications. So in review, we really have 4 pieces to the puzzle: your credit, your income, your proof of funds for the down payment and the closing cost, and then your reserves. How much will you have liquid available once you put down those funds for the down payment and you pay your closing cost. And there's some flexibility there depending on how the loan is structured and what type of loan you're obtaining. You don't always have to pay your own closing cost or pay your own down payment. There are programs available to where you can receive gift funds or possibly even receive a grant from the state. There are some programs available, so do feel comfortable contacting me if you have questions about the mortgage application or your qualifications, or if you need to be pre-approved and you're ready to get out there and start shopping. My direct line here at the office is 661-290-3817, or you can reach me nights and weekends on my cell phone at 818-521-8515. And thank you for spending a couple of minutes with me here this morning. Again, my name is Keith Reno with the Reno lending team of Prospect Mortgage. Thanks. Bye-bye.